Hello Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and this is my Fiber Web, which is a channel where I talk about cross stitch and sometimes knitting. Today I have both. Today is June 18th. It is a Tuesday and this is Flosstube episode 16 for me. My last regular update was episode 14 and episode 15 was a mid-year whip parade. So if you caught that whip parade, you will know that I sort of shuffled up my plans about just my approach for the second half of the year. I'm going to see how many things I can finish, and I think part of that is also going to be letting go of some of the things I was doing this year. I'll talk more about that in plans. So I have an exciting finish to share with you today, a handful of whips, no new starts. I think this is the first time I can actually say that without lying. I have some haul, and I'll have a little bit of life update at the end if you're interested in that. So, a couple of housekeeping things I wanted to mention. One is in episode 14, I think, I had the giveaway winners from my 1,000 subscriber celebration. I had 5 different giveaways, and 4 of the winners have gotten back to me, but 1 still has not. So the winner of this chart, which is the Piece Scissors Tag by the Drawn Thread, the winner was Marsha Platt. I will put her comment up on the screen. So we are paging Marsha. Marsha, please email me with your mailing address so I can send this to you. If I don't hear from you by the next video, I will either draw a new winner or just start a new giveaway for this, because it's been a little while since that first one. And then also in episode 14, I had a giveaway for the PDF of Cross Stitch the Globe's new pattern booklet, which includes, I think, 12 different charts that are based on Stephanie's travel photography from locations where Game of Thrones was filmed. I'm going to leave that giveaway open until my next episode, since the new House of the Dragon season just started. Did you watch the premiere of season 2? It was traumatic, but it was good. So yeah, if you are interested in winning a PDF of that booklet, please go back to episode 14. You can enter there, and I will draw in my next episode. So I think I am going to jump into my exciting finish. Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's my unicorn's garden. It's done. I have not ironed it. I should have pinned it on a board, but it is completely done. It is 100% finished. Let me bring you in for a closer look. Let me find something to put behind. Okay. So all the leaves on the trees, or the tree was the last part that I did. I got in all of these little orange flowers with this bright green color. My little moths have antenna now. All these beautiful flowers. My initials. I got the year in. And the beautiful unicorn with her glamorous green mane. It's done. Completely done. I finished this on June 9th. I had started it, I think I started it the day that the pattern came out, which was March 8th. That's the day I started it. I used all of the called for DMC for this. And it's on a 32 count linen, but I do not know what it is. It was in one of those fabric hauls that I got off of eBay that was not labeled. And I did 2/2 on the 32 count. And I am super happy with how everything looks. I love this finish. I This is the one I said I kind of didn't want to end, but this was also the thing I think that was closest to the finish after my whip parade. So I just worked on it until it was done. I love it so much. It looks so good. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do for a frame for this. Probably something light colored so that it will help the unicorn pop. And yeah, that is my only finish so far for this month, I think. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I've shown this a lot of times. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend the pattern. It was very easy to follow. There's just a little tiny bit of backstitch, which is, like I showed before, the antenna for these guys, and then a couple of these flowers have stems that are backstitched. I think these. But otherwise, it's just full crosses. And it's so beautiful. I love the colors so much. Okay, I'll put it down now. So that was my big exciting finish. And then after that, I decided the next thing I wanted to try to work on for a finish was my Pisces by Nora Corbett, which I have the pattern here, but, or no, I have the, this is what I used behind my thing, behind my unicorn. Okay, anyway, here, this is the piece I pulled out next. That's what she looks like. And I had a lot of trouble when I pulled this out this time. So I started working on this very light color in her dress, and I had to frog those stitches 4 times. I counted wrong and stitched wrong 4 different ways 4 times before pulling the thread out, throwing it in the naughty jar of orts because it's clearly a bad actor, and I threaded my needle with a new strand of that color and then just put the project away because I was stressed out. We were about to leave for a week-long trip for my son's baseball tournament, and I think my mind was just not ready for this. So it's still out on my desk, and I still want this to be the next thing that I focus on finishing. So it will get more attention shortly. I actually have not been stitching that much for the past week or so. I've been doing a lot more knitting because knitting is much easier for me to do in the car, and also just when I'm stressed out or I am watching TV shows, it's easier to just knit. So that's what I have been doing. But I will get back to Pisces soon. So when I put her into timeout because I could not figure out those 10 stitches that I kept doing wrong, I pulled out Warm Winter Woolens by Little House Needleworks, which looks like this. And this one I just started recently. Pisces I had started in February 19th, which is when Pisces starts. This one I started April 26th. And I did go through after I did my whip parade, and I took screenshots of all of my projects so I can show you where I was last time. So hopefully I'm showing you those now. This is where I am now. So I think I put the legs on the sheep and then started working more on the words. And that was just that one night when Pisces was bothering me. And then I did take this with me on our trip, but I didn't work on it at all while we were gone. What I did work on was 2 different ink circles pieces. So I brought these because I figured they each just use 1 color of floss and they'd be easy to travel with. So the first one I worked on when I was in Lake of the Ozarks was assembly required. And I will put in a photo of where I was before, which is I just had the hand done. And this is how far I am now. Ooh, even with 2 layers, you can still see through that. There we go. So this is how far I am now. I love how the floss is looking. It's perfect for old bones. However, I also messed this up. So the hand is fine, but all of this is wrong because I missed like one stitch in these bones, which I did first after the hand, and so the height of all of these things is wrong. It's all too short by one stitch. But I am not going to frog everything. I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to line everything up across the bottom is my plan. So let me show you this again. So in the chart at the top you can see like the hands and the skull and all those other little bits, they all line up on the same line. I think mine is just going to be pushed up one stitch, so the hands are going to be like down a little bit below the head. So everything will line up still across the bottom, but then like the pelvis and rib cage will push the head up one stitch above the hands. I don't think you'll be able to tell. So I worked on this for like a day and realized how much I messed up. And since we were on a trip that was sort of stressful, I decided to put it away because I didn't want to keep going and then count off of the wrong part and mess it up further. But I think it will be simple to do what I said I want to do. I just want to be in the right headspace. So that was assembly required, and then after I realized that mistake, I pulled out my other ink circles that I brought, which was a new start on June 2nd with my friends Judith and Kate, and this is Elemental Dragons Water by Ink Circles. I am doing this on an 18 count Ada from Crazy Hamster. This is the fabric that I'm using, and here's how far I got. So in my whip parade last week, I just had the snout of the dragon, and now I have more of his body. And you can see the variegation in this DMC that I picked. I'm using 4240 is the color, and it's just got these pretty blues and purples. So I worked on that for a couple days. I don't think I have messed up this one at all. But yeah, I had a rough go of things. So what I spent more time doing over the last week or so was knitting. I finished a shawl. It is called Lacy Business. It's by Ambah O'Brien, but I will have to show it to you next time because my mom is currently in possession of it. She is blocking it for me. It's much easier for her to block things at her house where there's no 2-year-old running around trying to get into everything and pull the pins out of the piece while it's drying. So she has been blocking a lot of stuff for me within the last year or so. So I finish my projects and I hand them off to her. And then in return, I usually help her if she needs something seamed, or sometimes if she makes a mistake, I can help her fix it in her knitting. So anyway, when I have that back, I will share how it looks. Or if she sends me a photo of it on the blocking mats, maybe I'll pop that in here. And then the other thing I've been knitting is also a shawl by Ambah O'Brien. This one is called the Ghost Knitter's Shawl, and it uses 2 colors. So I am using this mystery skein of single ply. It's like brown and gray variegated. That's pretty good representation. And I'm using it with this Emma's Yarn sock base, which is called Beautifully Basic, this one, and the color is Terrazzo. And this one is kind of funny because I am using this same color in another Ambah O'Brien pattern called Sherry Chevron, and I realized I was going to run out of it because I had already used it in a different project. I didn't have a full skein. And Emma's Yarn is interesting because I don't think they sell the yarn themselves at all. You have to buy it through a local yarn shop, and they have it in a bunch of different yarn shops, but I had a lot of trouble finding this color, so I ended up buying many different skeins of this on a couple different bases because I couldn't find an exact match to the skein I already had. Everything I found had much less speckling. So I have a bunch of skeins of this, is the point, and I've used it in a bunch of different projects. I've used it in socks, I've used it in shawls. It's a nice it's a nice light background color that's not super boring, since it does have a bunch of different colors in it. It's got gray, orange, yellow, some reddish, brown, different speckles. So I'm in the middle of a row, which is annoying. But this is another triangle shawl. Here, and this is the center spine right here that you can see, and this is upside down. But I have started on the skulls, so I will have put a picture in. Hopefully, this is kind of a mess. So the shawl goes this way, and this is all just garter stripes with the two colors that I showed you, and then the lace starts for the border down here, and then these are like, this is the top of one of the skulls that's gonna come through. So the rest of the shawl is just in this one color, and I have been working on this quite a bit. I was working on this while watching House of the Dragon, and when we drove home from Lake of the Ozarks. So I kind of just want to finish it now. I haven't been stitching anything because I've been working on that. I want to get it done. So that is everything that I have worked on in the last couple of weeks. And we are only like 17 minutes in, so that is magical. Future plans for the rest of this month for cross stitch include Marjorie Maid's Strawberry Moon Sal. I had showed before a bunch of strawberry charts that I was considering, and this is the one that I still would like to start this month. I have not yet. This is Strawberry Dream from Carriage House Samplings. It came out this year at Market. I need to find some fabric for this, and I will just be using the DMCs. It's charted in DMC and NPI silks, so I still want to start this month. Maybe I will start it today. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. And then my other plan is on the 30th, I will be starting the free artsy on the 30th, I will be starting the free artsy housewife pattern called Giant Butterflies. Milka from Mega Stitches and I are doing a stitch along. The hashtag is Giant Butterfly Sal. So please feel free to join us. You can get that chart for free on the Artsy Housewife Patreon. You do not have to join and be a member. It's just there available. And it doesn't use too many colors, and it's all DMC, and I think I mentioned last time I might switch out some of the colors for overdyed. I have not figured that out yet, but I still have 12 days to figure it out, so I will be starting that on the 30th. Let me know if you're going to join us. Milka and I were talking, and we're both sort of thinking of it as more of like a start along. There's no like strict timeline or anything, so feel free to jump in and tag us if you are working on it. Aside from that, I'm just going to keep working on seeing what I can finish. I do also have the Herbalist stitch along, which I have not worked on and would like to catch up on, and I have part 2 to work on for the Forest Fairy Tale stitch along by Quaternion Creations. That new clue is probably coming out tomorrow. I think it's been 2 weeks. So they come out every 2 weeks, but I think we have a rest week coming up soon. So maybe I'll be able to catch up on that because I have not worked on it since I showed it to you last time. Okay, and now I think all I have left is my haul. So if you're not here for haul, thanks for hanging out, and hopefully I will see you next time. If you are here for haul, I have some good things to show you. The first 2 are from my trip. So I could not find a local needlework shop in the Lake of the Ozarks area that looked like it would be worth my time to go to, but I did find a yarn shop that was not too far from us. It was called Flocks, I think, like Flocks, like flocks of sheep, and it was sort of a strange yarn shop, if I'm honest. They did not have much yarn at all. There was somebody in there learning how to crochet, and the staff working there were very nice. But they had like a lot of different cascade yarn, and then they had a tiny selection of yarn that they had dyed themselves, and I'm talking like less than 10 skeins of maybe 4 colors that were on different bases. And then they had some other yarn that didn't have labels on it, aside from these little, like this is all that it says, the price, and like an item number that they use in their system. So I picked these 2 out. Maybe I'll put in a photo of the Airbnb listing. This like matches the living room decor of the Airbnb we stayed at. She had pillows that looked like this teal and yellow sort of sunset thing. So I picked this out. This is a superwash merino sock yarn, basic fingering weight, I think. Pretty sure. And then this one is a DK weight. Not sure what the composition is. It feels like superwash. And it's sort of more of a natural, neutral, sort of beachy vibes. So those are the 2 that I picked. These were like 2 of the only hand-dyed skeins that they had in the whole shop. So I have those. I don't have any plans necessarily for those, but I do like to try and get travel yarn. That's a fun thing to do. So actually one of the yarns in the finished shawl that I cannot show you today was also a travel piece that I got when I went to Paducah. Okay, next I have fabric. I placed an order with the sewing shop, which is owned by Kaylee Tent Stitch. She was running a sale, I don't know how long, maybe a month ago now, where if you bought enough fabric, if you spent enough money on fabric, you could get a free project bag, and so that is what I did, and my fabric came. I already showed the project bag in my whip parade, if you want to see that. It's one of her like thicker ones that you can totally fit a project with the Q-snap in, and it has like canvas around the edges, and then the fabric print that I got was like some cute little mice. But I will show you the fabrics that I picked. This one is, what is this one? This one is an 18 count Aida, and it is called Dear Lisa Frank. And it is beautiful. It's washing out a tiny bit, but yeah, pink and purpley and the bright green. So I don't know what I'm going to put on this yet, but I love it. Oh, that shows up a little bit better folded in half, so that's a little bit truer to color. Oh, it's just washing out. There we go. I got that one. This one is also 18 count Aida, and it is called Elemental Fire. Isn't that cool? So I don't know if I will use it with the streaky things that way or this way, because this looks more like sky and like some creepy towers or something. Like this would be a good piece for a dragon, I think, to be flying, and that to be the background. I don't know, no plans, but I love that. The next one is a 32 count linen, and this one is called Siren Song. There we go. So this is like a greeny sky blue with these reddish, pinkish splotches. This is not there. The blue is so hard. Here, and then this side has some darker splotches. So yeah, that's not what it looks like. It's much more of a sky blue than it looks right now. But you can see the other colors, how they're laid out. Oh, that's better. That's kind of the color. And the last one is another Aida. This one's 16 count though, and it's called Kiss from a Rose. And it's a pretty purple and pink. That's pretty good. So I thought this one would be good for a fancy lady. I have Roses of Provence which I had picked out a pink fabric for, but it was like the wrong tone. Like the pink I picked was too warm, and then the pink in the pattern is more cool, so I think this purple might work better for her. It is Ada, and I don't know if I want to do a Mirabilia on Ada, but we'll find out. And then I placed another order with Witch's Garden Crafts. So I kept everything together this time so you can see. So that's her card, and then she sent a little like ornament cut. This is, my last one was a blue Ada, this one is green. And I got 2 pieces from her this time. This one is called Deadly Blooms. I think this might have been the called for fabric for the Noctiflora stitch along. Not the vampire one, the one before that. Which was Rare Horror Flies, I think. Which I did sign up for and never stitched. So I got this. Did I say what the count was? This is a 16 count Ada. And let me see if I can get the color to show up a little bit better. There's some like yellowy green in here that's not really coming through very well. Like right here by my fingers. So yeah, that's pretty. And then another 16 count Ada. This one is called This Is Halloween. So, Alex, I'm looking at you. I was thinking about putting Halloween Quaker on this whenever we decide to start it. It's a little bit, I'll have to look at the placement of the Quakers and that and see if this would compete too much with them. Because if it would, then I have something else that would work. But that's sort of what I was thinking when I picked this one out. So yes, Alex of Salix Stitches and I were talking about starting Halloween Quaker together. I already started Spring Quaker with her for her birthday this year, and I just recently got the Halloween Quaker, so hopefully we'll be starting that sometime soon-ish. I have not looked at the threads yet, and I'm just starting to pick out the fabric, so I'll let you know when we decide to start that in case you want to join us. And then the last haul that I have to share is from Banana Oil. So this is my first order with them. She sent these 2 cutie little stickers, and also a needle threader, which Witch's Garden Crafts sent one of these with hers too. I don't know if I showed that. And I got a 32 count Lugana in this crazy pink. Pink and sort of coral, and I love it. So Banana Oil, they post on Instagram when they've updated their Etsy shop, and then I just happened to see the post, like, you know, within 30 minutes of her posting it, so I was able to get this. This is my, like I said, my first purchase with them, so I haven't tried it yet, and it is a Lugana, which I haven't stitched on very much. Much more often I'm stitching on either linen or Ada, but this feels like a nice one to work on. I don't know what the fabric is that's like slippery. I don't know if that's Jobelin or it's something different, but there's one even weave that's like almost like shiny and slippery, and I don't know how much I like working on that, but this feels more like a linen. I guess I don't know what Lugana is made out of, like, is it cotton? I don't know. Anyway, that'll be fun to find a project to put on. So that is all of my stitching and knitting content. And the rest of what I had to share, I was just going to talk a little bit about some life stuff. So if you're not interested in that, then I will hopefully see you next time. And if you are, I just wanted to share that, like I mentioned a few times already, my family and I went down to Lake of the Ozarks. So we live in northern Illinois, like an hour west of Chicago. So the drive down to Lake of the Ozarks was a little over 6 hours, and my sons are 11, 8, and 2. And the 2-year-old actually did really well on the drive. We found a giant playground to play at. I'll put some pictures in. They had like a lot of, it seems like it was, this was like a graveyard for the old playground equipment that is usually no longer considered safe these days. So metal slides in the sunshine, and several metal merry-go-rounds that were in various states of disrepair, and like some wooden jungle gyms that also had some pieces missing. So they had a blast. Everything was all spread out, so they got to run around and stretch their legs. And my 2-year-old has recently become much more brave about going down big slides by himself, so he was going down all the slides, having a blast. But then, as we were driving down there, my oldest, who was supposed to be the one playing baseball in the tournament for the Little League World Series in Lake of the Ozarks, kept coughing and coughing and coughing. And he had sort of been feeling unwell the weekend before that, but I thought he was getting better. And then as we drove down there, he just was coughing more and more. So we got there Tuesday night, and he was supposed to play at noon on Wednesday. And I ended up taking him to urgent care Wednesday morning, and he tested positive for strep. So he had to start antibiotics, and he has to be on those for 24 hours before he's considered not contagious. So he missed his game Wednesday, and then he was also supposed to play at, I think, 4 p.m. on Thursday and 6 p.m. on Friday, and then the bracket started Saturday. Also in Lake of the Ozarks this past week, it was 90 degrees and above. It was humid. It was gross. So he is sick and having like coughing fits that he was having trouble breathing through, which is not normal with strep, which is weird. And his cough just kept getting worse even after being on the amoxicillin. So he did not play baseball Thursday. And then Friday, we decided to go check out. There are a bunch of caves in the Lake of the Ozarks areas that you can go tour. So we went on a tour of Stark Caverns, and it ended up being just me and Reed going through the tour because Cole, who is the 2-year-old, was not interested in listening to the tour guide inside of the dark cave. So my husband Bob took Cole and our 8-year-old Gray, who was not interested either, out. Well, Reed and I did the tour, and it was 57 degrees inside the cavern, and it is always 57 degrees all year round. So it was actually nice in there, and we listened to the tour. It was really cool. And then we got out. Reed was fine while he was in there. We got out, and we had to walk, maybe 100, 120 yards from the entrance of the cave back to the van, and by the time we got there, he's like coughing his lungs out again. So he did not. That day we took him to baseball, and he warmed up with his team, but after warming up, he said he didn't feel well enough to play. So he sat in the dugout and was cheering his team on. But even that, he texted me in the second inning and said he wasn't feeling good, so we left. So we're hanging out at our Airbnb. They had a pool there. They had a little tiny beach with lake access, so people would bring their kayaks there. Also, each unit in the condos we were staying in had their own dock, so there was a little dock that we could use if we wanted to. So the boys did get to go swimming a few times. We took Reed down there when there weren't too many people around. But it was so hot that even just hanging out down there while they were swimming was uncomfortable. In the mornings it was nice. I could sit outside on the deck or the patio and balcony. On the balcony. I could see the water, and I worked on some stitching and knitting. But then by 10 or 11 it was uncomfortable out there. So we came back early. We were supposed to come back Monday, but we did not stay the whole time. And then once my son got back here, it did seem like sleeping in his own bed helped him feel better. He still was sleeping extra hours, 12 or 14 hours a day. He fell asleep on the way to the game I tried to take him to, and on the way back, even though it was only a 25-minute drive. So I don't know what's going on with him. He's tested positive for strep, but it seems like he probably also had some sort of upper respiratory virus as well. He finally does seem to be recovering. He's still coughing, but not nearly as much as he was. And he has 2 games left this season. One is tonight and one is tomorrow. And again, it's 91 is the high today. So he's going to go to his game tonight, and we're going to see how it goes. But that all of that is the reason that my normal like stitching habits and knitting habits were different. A lot of times when things get overwhelming, I just go back to knitting. Because if I can find something that's mostly stockinette or garter stitch, it's really just soothing and mindless, and I don't have to worry about miscounting my stitches and unpicking things. That happens to me, mistakes happen to me much less in knitting, and it's easier. Like if you see you made a mistake a row or two down, you can usually fix it much more easily than like, you don't have to always rip all the way back to where you made the mistake. Or maybe it's just because I'm more experienced with knitting, but that's what I've been doing. And now that we're home, we're trying to get back into a routine. My husband just went back to work today, so he took vacation like all last week and yesterday. So trying to get back into a routine with the boys home from school, and hopefully that will mean more stitching because I haven't really done much. And I'm trying to catch up on all of the Flosstube that I missed. It was like all of my favorites and some new to me channels that had mentioned me and said the kindest things. I will talk more about that in my next episode because I'm still trying to get caught up on all the stuff I missed. I don't know if it's even possible to catch up if you miss a whole week of Flosstube because there's so much. So it might be just a losing battle and I might have to give up at some point. But I'm trying to work my way through all of those episodes that came out. And there's still more, you know, every day that I'm adding to my queue. So if you have mentioned me or you found my channel because someone mentioned me, thank you very much. It means a lot to me. I was sort of having a rough weekend, and this morning I had a headache and I wasn't sure if I was going to film today, but usually talking about this stuff and then connecting with all of you does help me feel better, so I decided to go ahead and do it. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there. I think this is, even though I just blabbed on and on about life stuff for the first time I think on my channel, I think this is going to be my shortest video. So thank you for watching and being here and liking and commenting and subscribing, and I will see you in a couple weeks with my next update. Take care and happy stitching.